Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CryptoC Investigation, where we have a look at various cryptocurrency projects and we ask ourselves, are they going to be worth investing in? Today, we'll be looking at Ariva. So I actually heard about this project a while ago, and I have decided to actually make a video on it, because apparently it's trending, because one of their staking wallets has just gotten hacked. So, let's actually have a look. So what we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at some on-chain metrics, some on-chain analytics, and what I'm going to try to show you guys is we're going to try to find out if this project is, number one, safe to invest in, number two, what are potentially the risks, and number three, what are potentially the rewards which we could receive from this. Yeah. Also, if you guys do like what I do on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you do want to comment, you're very welcome to comment, but I do ask that you try to be healthy, truthful, and considerate with your comment, because, yeah, I don't really want to create like a sort of rude community. Yeah, but actually be a community which is based around the truth of the information which we do find. Cool. So anyway, Ariva. This is going to be interesting. So its current market cap is 18 million, which is pretty nice, and it's pretty okay. But remember, with pretty much any project which is under $100 million of market cap, generally that's considered a low market cap project. So just bear that in mind with that sort of jazz. So it says that its max supply is currently, that's 100 billion, and currently circulating is 63 billion. So to give you guys an idea, so the coin, as you can see, it's gone all the way from quadruple zero all the way up to double zero, and then we're sort of now sitting at around about the triple zero sort of mark. So it is higher than what it was when it first got released, but it sort of makes sense. I feel like it may drop down a little bit more from here, but we will see, depending on if people actually still want to try to invest in the project, because maybe this hack might have actually also been something where, people might actually start talking about it a little bit more, and maybe like, hey, like, this project is wanting to do this thing. So what is Ariva? I'll show you their YouTube. So this is their YouTube. So one thing is that they are making like a sort of metaverse type thing. I believe they're calling it Areva Wonderland. And to be honest, it looks really cool. Like, not gonna lie, man, it looks like it looks legit. It looks mega fun to play and everything. But their main purpose is for being the new generation travel and tourism cryptocurrency. So essentially, a part of their white paper, they pretty much outline a whole bunch of things regarding the travel and tourism community, talking about the jobs and talking about the sector and everything. But we will be having a look at that a little bit more later on. But yeah, so for the most part, what the heck? Hang on. Oh my gosh, they didn't update their page. So it looks like you can buy this on gate.io. That is cool. That is nifty. I did not know that they had uploaded this to gate.io. I thought that the highest was bscheck. But coinmarketcap needs to update this page then. But yeah, dude, that's awesome. Gate.io is fantastic. I got a link in my description if you guys want to sign up to them. I really like them. Yeah, fantastic place to buy a bunch of things which I talk about. But yeah, so these guys' main sort of project is to be kind of like the main cryptocurrency for travel usage, right? Now here is why I personally think that it wouldn't be that wise to invest in a currency which is purely based around travel, is because essentially every cryptocurrency is trying to become a currency which you can use all around the world. Like, I mean, Bitcoin you can use all around the world, XRP you can use all around the world, ADA, Solana, USDT. So it doesn't mean that there are going to be lots of places which currently accept those, but essentially the aim for the cryptosphere is to actually have, I guess, a coin or some coins which can be used all around the world, and especially because there's going to be a whole bunch of interoperability between various tokens and everything else, which is why I personally believe that Ariva, by going the way of the Wonderland metaverse, wonderful. Definitely head that direction. That is so much better, because if your whole purpose is travel, then you're competing with every cryptocurrency. If your purpose is metaverse, you're competing with just the metaverses. And from what I've seen of their metaverse, it looks cool. It looks really cool. All right, so let's move on. Let's have a look at some metrics and stats. So this is an audit which was done by Hacken. Not too familiar with Hacken. This is the first time which I've actually heard about them or seen them. So I'm not sure how reliable and trustworthy they actually are. So just bear that in mind. But it says that so in terms of issues which are found, old compiler version is used. I mean, it's pretty standard, to be honest. Status fixed by revoking the contract ownership. Interesting. Which one did they look into? Did they just look into the Binance one, or did they look into the Ethereum one as well? So what's interesting is that it says type ERC20 token deployed, and they have the Binance smart chain link there, but it says platform Ethereum / Solidity. So your boy's a little bit confused right now. So I'm going to assume that this is BSC. I'm going to assume that because of what it's linking to. So it says max supply is not set. Owners can mint tokens unlimitedly. Unlimitedly. Though the website states that total supply should be 100 billion. Function mint recommendation limit total supply of the token, status fixed by revoking the contract ownership. And if we have a look on what this says about the BSC thing, we can actually see that the owner is currently a dead wallet. So essentially, in their point of view, the ownership has been renounced. But we'll look a little bit deeper into that because there's some things which we need to go over. Alright, so let's have a look at the Ethereum chain first. As we can see, we have some bulbous as wallet holding 77% of the supply. If this guy sells, pretty much all of you guys' tokens are almost completely useless. Yep. That's kind of the short of it. So bscheck, so this I believe would be a part of a liquidity pool, but it's not tied to a contract. So yes, no. So a little bit sussy, but yeah, whatever. And then the next one is also a smart contract for Uniswap v3. So you know that's a good time. And then everybody else holds less than 0.4%. So yeah, honestly, it's kind of like you're a bunch of bunnies hanging around Goliath with a giant sword, or like or like a giant mallet or something. All right, so let's continue looking. Let's look at the. All right, so this is the Binance Smart Chain one. Hey, look, Gate.io right up in second place. Areva deployer. Now, be aware that I have heard of some horror stories of wallets which do define themselves as deployers like this. I have heard some horror stories about them potentially being able to sell, I guess, the wallets in sort of bulk, essentially. So yeah, and then we can see that the third wallet is a contract, and the number 6 and 7 are also contract. In terms of the supply, so other than that, I would say it looks pretty safe, or standard pretty, to be honest, except for this one's also another concerning wallet because it's over 5%, but it's, to me, that's not enough to say that, like, it's gonna be really bad, if, let's say, they were to sell, for instance. But yeah, I think overall with this particular one here, yeah, I think that it looks okay. It doesn't look fantastic, but it doesn't look awful neither in terms of the Binance Smart Chain. All right, so let's have a look at BSCcheck and see what we can find out. So, so currently report generated. We see that this says that the report was generated on the 27th of the 1st, which is a whole month ago. And when we have a look, holders 150. Okay, so this is the ETH one. Sorry, this isn't the BSC one. But it says that it cannot read the contract owner. So it says warning, this contract seems to be a non-standard one. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. See, it's quite interesting because BSCcheck says that, you know, like warning, this contract seems to be a non-standard one, whereas tokensniffer would usually be like, hey, like, ticks up for like no prior similar token contracts. So it's quite interesting. Yeah. So when we have a look at these addresses, according to the ETH thing, as we can see, the 79%, my guy. 79%, but this was back in January, so they must have sold some or something would have happened, but they've now dipped down to 77%. So let's have a look at what we can find on the Binance Smart Chain one. So holders, we currently have 194,000 holders. Also, this project doesn't have any buy and sell tax, which is pretty good overall on both sides. Contract owner says dead, and then it says owner seems to be renounced. No contract code confirmation, do your own research. So it says suspect function detected in the contract code. Maybe a false positive, but could be risky depending of the modification performed. We will be looking into that, folks. So yep, that could be potentially concerning. And then it says only 44% is burned or locked, whereas there should be over 95% to be the safest. And so that is of the liquidities, and as we can see, so it says that top holders here is 4.9%. So yeah, so overall, but remember that this one is also done on the 25th, which was a few days ago. So maybe they somehow got some extra money from somewhere, not entirely sure. Now, for some reason, and I don't really know why tokensniffer's doing this one, but they aren't actually showing. So I tried to look up both the Etherscan contract and the BSCscan contract on tokensniffer, but I could only get the BSC contract to work. Yeah, so the other one's not actually working for some odd reason. But we'll see what we can see anyway. So we can see that it's not a honeypot. It's got a bunch of ticks. So verified contract source, no prior similar token contracts. Ownership renounced and source does not contain an owner. So keep in mind that this is saying it for the Etherscan one. Which, yeah, as I say, I'm probably not personally going to be trusting this one too well when it comes to this sort of versus the BSC one, because yeah, and also we can't actually see, like, we can't see the dead wallet, which it is talking about, which is a bit annoying. I take that back, guys. Sorry, I got confused for a moment there. This is the BSCscan one which we are looking at. So, sorry, yes, we do have a dead wallet here. Apologies for that, my bad. But let's continue anyway. So tokens burned is 6.36%, and also says that creator not authorized for special permission as well. But it says that only 5% is also burn/locked, which is in TrustSwap, which we can have a look on Moonarch regarding that. But we got a heck of a lot of liquidity with this bad boy. So we currently have $500,000 worth of liquidity in BNB on pancakeswap v2, 100,000 on for the BUSD, and we have 35,000 on ApeSwap, and there's also some others as well. But we won't be jumping through those hoops. So we continue going forward. So what does this say about the ETH contract? So token age is 3 months old. We can see the creator, but it doesn't say owner. And so I think that it might have picked up some interesting things from this as well. So it says out of the liquidity, which is none. It says 100% burned. And it says unlocked is 100%. Let's have a look on the right-hand side. So only minter restricts calls to an address. Check it. I'm not entirely sure what that means for this one. If anybody does know, please feel free to comment that. So there is a possibility that they can go and mint this supply regarding this. So if this was, let's say, the one which the audit was actually going on, then we can say that it was actually the audit picking up the Ethereum contract instead of the BSC. Alright, so yeah, so there's some of my extra thoughts on that jazz, is that they could potentially mint extras, but we will continue looking. So let's actually, I'll just briefly go back to this one here. So this is the Etherscan one. So seems so owner not renounced, cool. So it's the BSC one which we actually want to have a look at. There is a bunch of stuff to go over regarding the BSC one. So unlocked is 72%, owner holds 15%, so remember that 15% being being the Areva deployer, which I mentioned earlier, which could potentially cause risk if, let's say, they were to do like a dump on you guys, for instance. Burn is 6%. Sorry guys, I feel like I've got a bit of a scratchy throat today, so yeah. And locked is 2.5%, and liquidity is also 2.5%. Now, out of that liquidity is 74% belongs to the creator. So what does that mean, guys? It means that if the creator wanted to, they could essentially go and drain the liquidity pool. But here's a part of my curiosity. Why does the creator have 15%? And why does the liquidity hold 74%? And tokensniffer couldn't find this particular token, which is sussy. But when we look on bscheck, it says suspect function detected in the contract code may be a false positive, but could be risky depending of the modification performed. So remember when we were actually looking at tokensniffer just before, it says creator not authorized for special permission. Now, if tokensniffer could potentially see this, I personally think that it might actually come up showing that the creator has special permissions. So it may seem dead to us, but they may actually not be dead in reality, and they could just be trying to hide it in a very sneaky way. So in terms of supply locks, so 2.5% of the supply is locked on TrustSwap, and so that will be locked for 51 days. And then so for the liquidity, 2.78% is also locked on TrustSwap, and that would be for 160 days as well. Now let's have a look at some of these things in the right-hand side. I'm a little bit unsure as to why Moonarch is picking these up as... okay, yes, of course. So this is talking about the liquidity. Yeah. So that they say owner has these much percentages of liquidity, which is kind of confusing because the owner is apparently renounced. So that's kind of questionable, as one might say. Creator has 15% of non-burnt supply, we do know that. Unusual approve, so return super.approve spender value. If anybody knows what that is, as I say, if you guys know anything more about this project than I do, you are welcome to comment, because remember, we want to follow where the facts lead us. Approve should not have modifier when not paused. Check it. Okay, so transfer should not have modifier when not paused. Check it. So essentially, it seems like there may be something in the background which it's kind of peculiar why they would have added this to the contract itself. So they would have had to like had these modifiers to be able to or added to the contract in order for these to actually pop up on Moonarch, right? So there's something which they are not telling us. Owner might be able to pause trading. It's still super peculiar, the fact that they say owner might be able to pause trading. So here is my personal thinking now. Usually, usually, from what I have seen on Moonarch in the past, is that if the renounce was done in a suspicious way, or there is potentially a way which they say that they are renounced, but the owner has not renounced. So there's this thing called a fake renounce, which I guess that this has the possibility to have a fake renounce to some extent. But yeah, so usually it would come up down the list of I guess lines here, but this one doesn't have it. So it sort of makes me think maybe it doesn't have a fake renounce, but people are getting smarter. Developers are getting smarter. They'll probably try to find new ways. I mean, think of a criminal, right? A criminal will almost always try to find like new ways of doing things, right? I mean, so does humanity and innovation and all that sort of jazz. So yeah. So with that being said, you will like, even though it doesn't say it here, it could still be risky. So yeah, it says that only owner is able to pause, unpause. Owner can blacklist addresses. So it's still extremely interesting. And also they may also have an extra mint function as well, as a part of their contract. So it's just pretty fascinating to me that we have these kind of extra warnings, but at the same time, and on bscheck as well, and we couldn't search it we could search the, I'm getting my facts super mixed up. So this one's actually the BSC one, and this actually says create and authorized for special permissions. So yeah, so I just had a bit of a thought. I was just thinking that I could possibly edit this video and take out like the things where what the heck, that's funky. And could potentially take out the things of like me getting the mistakes wrong, right? But I want to be authentic with you guys. I want you guys to see that I am human and that I do make mistakes as well. All right, so bear that in mind. Your boy ain't perfect. YouTubers ain't perfect. Don't think that I'm perfect with this information, okay? Yeah, so just want to be super raw and authentic with you guys. So it's interesting how we do actually see that there are other token contracts which are identical, but yet it says no prior similar token contracts. So maybe this was the first. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, but also for some reason tokensniffer didn't actually pick up the proper name of it. And keep in mind that this is actually showing the BSC one. So yeah, I don't think we should really trust tokensniffer very much, in particular with this thing. Generally tokensniffer is very good, but with this particular one, I think, yeah, it is not exactly the first go-to for this jazz. So yeah, so either these guys are very good at hiding certain things, and making things sort of run off in the background, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, as I say, 77%, and then also, yeah, this extra deploy. Anyway, let's go to some social metrics. So some of the social metrics, we have Areva coin. And we can also see some of the subreddit stats. So they have been around since August 2nd, 2021. And according to this, so they only had like very few followers around that time, and then suddenly they just went in this massive boost. We'll see if that actually sort of lines up with this. So so that's actually September, that sort of time period. So this would have been October when it actually peaked really nicely. But also keep in mind with the price going down as well. So so with the, that is interesting. Usually we've got like a little chat thing here where there's a whole bunch of people talking about it. Here we go. Guys, only join this website. CMC drops, double your something or other. Thank you. Spam comments, delicious. Yeah, so keep in mind that most of the crypto market has been sort of going down during this sort of time. So it sort of makes sense for it to have gone down like that as well. All right. Okay, so we'll continue looking. Comments per day. So, you know, they had that peak, and then so it's sitting at about one comment every so often. Yeah, but they're still sitting at about 8,000 subs. So the community who actually chooses them, it definitely feels like they do want to stay with them. And honestly, yeah, so yeah, and post per day is looking pretty decent as well. Let's see if we can have a look at some of the Twitter stats as well. So it looks like we'll go to some detailed statistics. So they have had a new 1,500 members in the last 30 days, but there were some days with some minus. Like for instance, Friday, 230, so minus 236. Now, when I went through their Twitter myself, I didn't really see, so there was a whole bunch of shilling, but there, like, I couldn't really find any bot comments, the ones which I was sort of going through. So I was sort of clicking on a few profiles, just sort of checking to, you know, see if these guys are I guess made by the company, or, you know, like if the company hired them to, you know, go and promote and spam the heck out of this coin, but tokens, sorry. But I didn't see any of that jazz. Like these guys are pretty fine, to be honest. They're like pretty safe in terms of their community. So the community really believes in the project. So I'd say that in terms of the community backing, this has probably been one of the more impressive ones which I have seen, for how many people actually want to follow them. And oh my word, that is a lot of things regarding their link tree. Yeah. So let's have a look at some of the Google trends. Over the last 12 months, It's sort of been, Ariva might be something different, because usually when I see sort of trends like this, usually that would mean that it's associated with something else as well, not just the cryptocurrency. But look at that, dude. I've never seen that before. Down, up, down, up. That is interesting. It usually doesn't have waves like that, so that's kind of fascinating. So I also try to have a look for Areva Interviews. And I watched this video, Anonymous. He says, team revealed, shh. But all it really does is show like potential countries which use commas for their like coins, so it's kind of peculiar. But we do have a face, which is cool. We will be having a look on their website as well. So this girl, Miss Ashley, she is a part of public relations. Yeah, so we have one person's face and name so far. So I couldn't find anything on the actual team itself. And there are some other things which, you know, like you can have a look at their main page as well, but we're actually going to jump and have a look at some of the things regarding their white paper. So there were some things which actually stood out to me on here. So first of all, one of them was the actual roadmap, which they have listed on their website as well, which we will double check the one on their website just to I guess cross check. And they have actually been on a lot of websites as well, so they've actually like had like a whole bunch of press done about this. So I feel like, from my personal opinion, it does feel more like they were probably paying for promotion, to be honest. Because yeah, I think that I kind of get that vibe, man. So this only goes up to 2022, the first quarter, but in the roadmap we can actually see it go all the way. So this has gone from Q2 of 2021, and then it goes all the way up to 2022 for the second and third quarter, and they've only got two things: so launching Areva.club website and launching Areva's mobile applications for all devices. Yeah, so that's kind of their roadmap. But here is something else interesting which I noticed from their white paper. I've never seen a legal disclaimer as long as this one in any of the white papers which I have looked at. So it's so I feel as though maybe there's like I'm not gonna be reading through that because that's boring and annoying as heck. But if anybody sees anything, you're very welcome to, you know, post and then show us the source and all that jazz. Yeah, so I'm just gonna let you guys straight out know I am not touching this. I mean, I have seen worse projects in terms of their metrics and all that sort of jazz, but I would say it feels a bit like a social coin, to be honest. It feels a little bit like a coin where people will, like, the main reason for the price going up would likely be because people are talking about it, not because it has a genuinely unique and fantastic use case. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but my sort of personal thoughts are like the fact that the actual token is pretty much just based around the fact that it's like a travel thing. It doesn't really attract me too much, because pretty much every token can be used as currency in pretty much every country. So yeah, I mean, that's a very hyperbolic statement, but yeah. And also the fact that there could be some possible hidden mints. The fact that bscheck possibly picked something up, it could be a false positive, as they say. But remember, there is the potential for it to be fake renounced, although we don't see it listed on Moonarch saying this. And also the other thing, with it not being able to be searched on tokensniffer, the other tokens which have been launched were also identical. One of them, which was similar, has been flagged due to bug, hack, or scam or something. Usually we can find out though. So it will say right here, it says creator address blacklisted for prior scams, crazy frog. Alright, cool. Yeah, so I don't think you should invest in this, to be honest. Yeah, unless you believe in the social metrics. If you believe in coins which would go up because of social status and promotion, then invest in these guys. But if not, then don't touch it. Leave it alone. Anyway, guys, that is my video. Thank you for watching. I know that this was a very long one. Haven't done a 30-minute video for a while. Thank you for staying all the way until the end. Once again, please do consider liking and subscribing. I do also have a Patreon as well. This is my Patreon here, so if you want to become a backer, supporter, or an advocate, these prices show New Zealand dollars, because your boy is a Kiwi. So yeah, it's 5, 10, and 20. If you know, like, help me do things, help me financially, or help sponsor me or whatever. And you can also get potential exclusive fan requests and vote on projects that you want videos on, because as you know, my channel grows bigger and everything, I probably won't be able to accommodate to everybody who comments on my videos. Yeah. Anyway, guys, this has been interesting. This has been interesting. Oh, I didn't even speak about the hack. About the hack, my personal opinion, it was probably an inside job. That is my personal opinion on the hack, which it does suck for a lot of people, because a lot of people are commenting, "Where is my money? I currently don't have money." And these guys are talking about how, you know, you will be compensated and everything, and also, like, to some extent you possibly could be quote unquote rug pulled. Yeah, but anyway, that is all me, folks. Please have a wonderful day. Please, if you do wish to comment, please be considerate within the comments. Yeah, or be mature. Don't just like be angry because I'm roasting your project. Yeah, much love, guys. Fairly well.